Batman is a character known for darkness, not only in aesthetic but also in tone, so it only makes sense that many of his most iconic stories contain this dark tone. Books such as Hush or The Killing Joke spring to mind, but arguably the most famous of these dark stories is A Death in the Family, written by Jim Starlin in 1988. But this book is also kinda goofy. It's about the death of a child, sure, but everything surrounding that is kinda comical. Now, what I'm saying here may sound crazy, but that's why I'm making this video. To explain my thought process on this, because I understand it's kind of a crazy take. Basically, what I'm going to do is break down the plot before delving into the dark and serious parts of the book, before finally explaining what I find so goofy about it. So, without follows Batman and his then Robin Jason Todd as they chase the Joker across the Middle East to stop him from selling weapons to terrorists. It's a pretty basic yet fun story, but the real twist comes in the last issue, and to explain it, I'm going to need to give you some backstory. The year was 1988 and Batman's 50th anniversary had arrived, and because of this, DC decided to give fans the option of voting on whether or not to kill Jason Todd. And by the title of the story, I bet you can't guess what they chose. They killed him. Yeah. The scene in which Jason dies is actually pretty haunting. For the last few issues, he had been trying to track down his birth mother, only for her to betray him to the Joker when he found her. But then the Joker betrays her as well, leaving both mother and son to die in a warehouse rigged to explode. He also beats Jason with a crowbar for good measure. Batman arrives too late and holds the body of his son in his arms as he dies, yet another innocent life claimed by the Joker. After this, the Joker meets with the Iranian Secret Service, where he is introduced to Ayatollah Khomeini. Wait, what? Yeah, this is a real panel in a Batman comic. That is just wild. Meanwhile, Batman pulls up to the United Nations Plaza and he's all ready to kick the ever-loving shit out of Joker when Superman flies in and tries to calm Bruce down. But he is not having any of that shit and starts crashing the fuck out on Superman. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted, however, by the arrival of the Joker, who announces that he is now the international ambassador of Iran, granting him full diplomatic immunity. In mind, let's now talk about some of the more serious aspects of this book. Of course, the scene where Jason dies is tragic, especially because he spends his final moments trying to help the mother that double crossed him. People like to say that Jason is just the angry Robin, but here he really does show that he had a heart of gold. Another pretty dark aspect of this story is how it opens with Batman and Robin busting a ring. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? This is something I would not expect to see from a Big Two comic, especially one from the 80s. The book also ends on a somber note, with Joker seemingly dying, but with Batman sure that he will one day return, implying that the two are destined to do this dance forever. Well and good and all, but I do kind of struggle to take many of these scenes seriously when I know that this is in the same book in which Joker becomes the international ambassador of Iran. But this is not the only silly thing to happen in this book, oh no. For earlier in the story, Joker has this whole subplot about him dismantling this big ass cannon thing, bringing it over to the Middle East, and then reassembling it. Also, did I mention the whole thing with Ayatollah Khomeini, aka the first supreme leader of Iran? Yeah, I don't think I have to say anything else about this. The whole plotline of Joker becoming the ambassador for Iran is the funniest shit in any comic I have ever read, and I love how they play it absolutely straight. Ayatollah Khomeini is canon to the DC universe, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, A Death in the Family is a pretty silly comic book when you really look at it. But that's not to say it's bad, oh no. There's a lot to love about this book. I think it's got pretty good characterization for Batman, with him actually having a sense of humor and not just being dark and brooding and big, angry punching man all the time. It's also a great book for Jason Todd as it shows off all sides of his character. Overall, despite how goofy it can be, Death in the Family is really good. It's a classic for a reason after all, and I highly recommend that you check it out.